Welcome to the National Broadband Availability Map training series. In this video, we will be providing an overview of the NTIA Permitting and Environmental Information application. The application was created to help with your permitting, planning, and environmental review preparation efforts by providing access to multiple maps from publicly available sources, including federal review, permitting, and resource agencies. The application should be used for informational purposes only and is intended solely to assist users with preliminary identification of areas that may require permits or planning to avoid potentially significant impacts to environmental resources subject to National Environmental Policy Act and other statutory requirements. Please reference the application for complete disclaimer information. The application allows a user to view multiple layers available within themed map tabs. The application allows you to zoom to a location you specify, turn on and off layers, view attribute information within pop-ups, and print a map. For enhanced mapping capabilities, such as uploading shapefiles or viewing multiple layers at once, users are encouraged to download and incorporate the data into your own GIS system. All the data included in this application is publicly available and can be found on the Data Sources tab. Open the application. An initial welcome screen is provided, as well as a link to this video, which provides step-by-step instructions on how to use the application. The welcome screen also includes disclaimers. Once you have reviewed the instructions and disclaimer, press Start to enter the application. To return to these instructions at any time, you can click the question mark in the upper right-hand corner. Once you are in the application, you will see a ribbon across the screen immediately under the NTIA logo listing multiple maps by subject area. The rectangular box to the right of the NTIA logo will allow you to enter a location and page between the maps in the ribbon. The icons in the upper left-hand corner of the map will allow you to zoom in and out on your map, change your base map, return to the initial view, and print. In the upper right-hand corner, the icon with an upward arrow and a circle will allow you to enter a location, which will then zoom the map to that location. Once you have zoomed to a location, you can page through each map and review each layer. The layer list and legend are also provided at the bottom of the map, which we will review in our demo. To start, click on the arrow with the circle in the upper right-hand corner and enter a location. Enter Yakima, Washington. Suggestions will be provided below as you type the location. You can either hit Enter after you complete your entry or choose from the suggestions provided. Your map will now zoom to Yakima, Washington. Once you are zoomed to your location, you can click on the location icon to reduce the tool. Zoom out slightly on your map to identify various federal and tribal lands shaded in different colors. You can zoom in and out on your map by clicking the plus or minus on the left-hand side or by using your mouse wheel. For the federal/tribal permitting areas, there are multiple layers already turned on. To see what each color represents on your map, click on the legend icon in the lower left-hand corner. You can now see what each color represents on your map. You can expand and collapse the legend at any time. Collapse the legend by clicking the return arrows. To view all the layers in this map, expand the layer list in the lower right-hand corner by clicking the caret next to federal/tribal permitting areas. Map layers could be single layers or could be grouped layers. We will discuss grouped layers shortly. Click on a colored area on your map to see the pop-up. Various attributes are provided for each land area. This area has both U.S. Bureau of Reclamation and U.S. Forest Service land. Most layers shown on the map do have pop-ups available which provide additional information. Close the pop-up. If a broadband project were to be proposed in this area of Highway 82, you can see there are 2 federal agencies which you may have to coordinate with for permitting. If we look at another potential broadband project along the highway to the south, you can now see there is a tribal area that would also require coordination for permitting. Deploying on tribal lands can trigger both tribal and BIA permit requirements. In the upper right-hand corner, click on the right arrow to move to the next map, which is state lands. This map will still show the Yakima, Washington area. All maps will use the initial location you entered. If you zoom to a different location, then all maps will use that newly entered location. Open the layer list on the bottom right. No layers are turned on for this map, but you can navigate to a state and turn on those layers. Please note that the layers are from publicly available state datasets. Not all states/territories have made data available, and the types of available data vary. Scroll down to Washington. Click on the eye next to Washington to turn on those layers. Click on the legend to review the layers shown on your map. Expand the Washington group layer by clicking on the caret next to Washington. If you are only interested in DNR managed lands, you can turn off the non-DNR lands by clicking on the eye. Now only DNR lands will be shown on the map. Your legend will only display those layers turned on in your layer list. Close your layer list. In the upper right-hand corner, click on the right arrow to move to our next map, which is Infrastructure/Rights of Way. Expand the layer list in both group layers by clicking on the carets next to the right-of-way and energy layers. The National Transportation layers adjust to your map scale, so when you zoom in, there is more detail. Rail lines are also included in addition to the right-of-way layers for the U.S. Forest Service in a few states. Turn off right-of-way layers and collapse. Expand and turn on energy. Zoom out on the map to see the electric transmission lines and the electric retail service territories. Both layers will provide information on the utilities that cover this area. Click on one of the service territories and you will see the utility name. Close the pop-up. In the upper right-hand corner, click on the right arrow to move to our next map, which is EPA Programs. This map includes layers from the EPA NEPA Assist application. Expand EPA programs in the layer list and also expand hazardous waste. Note that these are group layers, and each layer within that group must also be turned on to view the layer as well as the group layer. Turn on the first layer under hazardous waste and click on a point on the map to view the pop-up. The facility name and address is provided. It is important to know what hazardous waste sites are near your construction site, since contamination can pose a health hazard to construction workers, can spread contaminants throughout the environment, and could require compliance with the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act or the Comprehensive Environmental Response, Compensation, and Liability Act, also known as Superfund. Close the pop-up and legend. In the upper right-hand corner, click on the right arrow to move to our next map, which is Floodplains/Wetlands. The Wetlands layer is currently turned on. Zoom in slightly on the map to show the layer and expand the legend. This map includes flood maps from FEMA and wetlands from the Fish and Wildlife Service. Coastal information is also included under Coastal Layers and Sea Level Rise, which is provided by NOAA and FWS. This map also includes wild and scenic river data from the Forest Service. You can print your map to a PDF. Click on the print icon on the left side. Create a title for your map, such as Yakima, Washington Wetlands Map. You can change the page setup or format if you would like. You can also expand advanced options and add additional information. You can leave the settings as is. Click Export to export your map. Your file will show up with the name you created under Export Files. Click on the file. A PDF map will open, which you can save locally. Go back to the application. Collapse the print menu. In the upper right-hand corner, click on the right arrow to move to our next map, which is Critical Habitat. This group layer contains both linear and polygon features showing critical habitat that are both final and proposed. Critical habitat is designated under the Endangered Species Act. Zoom out slightly on the map until you see a shaded polygon to the west. Click on the area to the west to view the pop-up. You can see that this is critical habitat for the threatened northern spotted owl. You can click on the link for more information about that species, and please note that threatened or endangered species occur outside of the proposed listed critical habitat. Critical habitat does not provide the full extent of species distribution. To explore specific species and habitats that may intersect within your project boundaries, users are encouraged to visit the USFWS Information for Planning and Consultation website to learn more about potential impacts to threatened and endangered species, as well as migratory birds and other protected species, and to identify the associated environmental compliance requirements. In the upper right-hand corner, click on the right arrow to move to our next map, which is Historic Places. This map includes properties listed on the National Register of Historic Places by the National Park Service. Note that the State Historic Preservation Office should be consulted to identify historic properties that are National Register eligible but have not yet been listed. NTIA assists grant recipients in notifying tribal historic preservation officers of broadband projects post-award to ensure that tribal historic properties are also considered. In the upper right-hand corner, click on the right arrow to move to the Data Sources tab. This final tab lists all the data sources provided in the maps. All data is publicly available and can be downloaded and incorporated into your GIS system. Many of these layers are being pulled from external sources, so they are dependent on those services being available. If the server is down or data is moved, layers will not draw on the map and an error may be shown. The MBAM Analytics team will periodically check these sources and update when possible. You have now explored the NTIA Permitting and Environmental Information application. If you want to enter another location and explore, just click on the arrow with a triangle in the upper right-hand corner to open the location tool and enter a new location. In this video, you have learned how to use the NTIA Permitting and Environmental Information application. If you have any questions or suggestions, please email us at ntiaanalytics@ntia.gov. Thank you for watching.